Main capabilities of a CDP. Excuse me. So at the bottom, right, we got the capability of data aggregation and storage, right? So we want to have, all of our data in one place. We want to be able to hold it and store it and aggregate it together. One layer above, we have this single customer view. So the data is kind of like processed. It's not entirely in its raw form, so it's been transformed a little bit. And now we have the single customer view. One layer on top of that, we got the analytics and insights, right? So are we able to get to discover some insights, to get some answers to deeper questions besides like how many people bought this product last month. And one layer on top of that is orchestration, decisioning, optimization. So kind of like leveraging all the insights and then being able to dispatch those insights to connect with your customers. But that layer over there is the layer that essentially is the decisioning layer, right? Everything that it's like your airport control that decides who goes up and who goes down and when and why. So it's kind of like the central nervous system. And at the top, you got the actual campaign, what Americans call last mile execution, right? So the actual email being sent, the actual push message being sent, the actual banner on the website that changes in real time. So all of those kind of like messaging channels, campaign execution, and personalization. And if you look at it, you can see that, the more you go up, like at the bottom, you basically, it's more. So let's talk about like all CDPs have more than probably 3 of these capabilities, right? So the question is, how do you score them across the different capabilities? Some CDPs are more centralized at the bottom, others are more centralized at the top, and at the bottom, probably going to have more data, and when you go up, you're going to have less data, but data that's curated. At the bottom, you have to be more technical. At the top, you got to be like a business user, and at the bottom, it's probably IT is going to buy it, and at the top, it's going to be marketing that's going to buy it. And going deeper into this, you can see some example vendors, right? And where they shine. So what is this one capability that they do best, right? So Treasure Data at the bottom, it's kind of like a company it looks like a data warehouse, like a database, right? You got SQL console, you got data flowing processes, you got ETL controllers. So it's much more technical. That's Treasure Data. Action IQ, it's like a very strong single customer view. Us Optimove, like our claim to fame and what we do best is kind of like what you do with the data, like the smartest brain, the decisioning, the optimization. And you got last mile execution, folks like Braze and Emarsis at the top, right? Or Clever Tap, if you want to take an Indian company. So if we further kind of like divide this space, so the CDP space according to BCG, you can see different vendors in the space, right? You can see Optimove. Actually, here's CleverTap right there. So you can see different vendors. So I'll just cover this one briefly, but if we look at those capability layers, the way we see the world is we say, look, the top was something that kind of like delivering emails or push messages. We call it the challenge of yesterday. We now know how to do it, right? It doesn't mean it's very easy, but there's plenty of vendors that can do that. The bottom is kind of like the challenge of today. People today are all about kind of like, merging their data, consolidating their data, deduping their data, having a good single customer view in one place. But the way we see it, it's actually not enough because, and by the way, and I bet with all of you now that if you wait 15, 20 years, there's going to be another thing that essentially does what the data warehouse used to do and what the CDP is. It's going to have another name. It's going to be called, I don't know, Data Fusion Future. I don't know, a DFF or something that, CDPs were not, it's not going to be enough for the data. And at any point in time, when you talk to somebody, you say, how's your data? It's like, mess, shit, I don't like it. I can't see what I want to see. It's not accurate enough. Last week I found a mistake. It's like a very challenging thing to do. And at any point in time, everybody's data is a mess. So what's our human intuition? Let's clean up the mess. And then you ask them, what are you going to do with it? First, let me clean it up, and then I'm going to think about it, right? So it's like nobody, let's clean it up. But what are you going to do with it? Let's just have a good pantry, right? With all the raw materials, right? Raw ingredients. Let's have the rice in one place. Let's have the beans in another place. Let's have kind of like the vegetables. Let's have the curry. Let's have all of our raw ingredients in one place. And I'm like, what about the cooking? And nobody talks about the cooking. So we think that the cooking, kind of like the challenge of tomorrow, is going to be those two parts that obviously Optimove does very well. It's about kind of like, what do you make of the data? What do you understand from the data? What do you learn from the data? And then how do you use the data for better decisioning, better orchestration, better optimization? So, and we're starting to see that, right? There's more people, because it's always been the case. I got to build a data warehouse. Okay, now you have a data warehouse. Are you doing anything with it? No. You know, I got to build a big data lake. Now you have a data lake. I got to build, like, it's always